Welcome! Modi! Welcome! Modi! Welcome! Modi!
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming US visit is being widely talked about. He's been to the US several times in his 9-year tenure as PM, but what makes Modi's newest trip special is that unlike the previous ones, it's being classified as a state visit. A state visit is considered the highest ranked visit by the head of the government of a nation. His 2014 visit was a working visit. In 2016, it was a working lunch. The next year, it was an official working visit. The US officially called his 2019 trip as one in which Modi participated in a rally in Houston, Texas. So what will Modi be doing in the US this time? The PM will leave for the US on June 20. On June 21, he will lead the celebrations of the International Day of Yoga at the United Nations headquarters in New York City. The next day, on June 22, Modi will travel to Washington, D.C. to receive a ceremonial welcome at the White House. As has been the norm during the Modi era, more than 1,000 people are expected to be at the event, including members of the Indian diaspora. Modi will then address a joint session of the US Congress. These addresses are usually reserved for the closest allies of the US or major world figures. Modi last made such an address in 2016 and arguably points at the growing bonhomie in Indo-US relations. Later, US President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are hosting a state dinner for him, where he will hold key discussions. This dinner will see several hundred guests, a mix of members of Congress, diplomats, and celebrities. Talks between Modi and Biden are expected to touch on 5 broad areas of significance: healthcare, technology, renewable energy, education, and defense. This would be reflected in the joint statement. Please note that this is only the 3rd state visit hosted by Joe Biden. The earlier 2 were for French President Emmanuel Macron and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol. On June 23, US Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Antony Blinken will jointly host a luncheon for Modi. This could provide for more opportunity for bilateral talks between India and the US. Modi is also scheduled to have several curated interactions with CEOs, professionals, and other stakeholders. He will meet members of the Indian diaspora as well. Indian Americans are expected to travel to Washington, D.C. in large numbers to attend the welcome ceremony for Modi. The Federal reported earlier that the Indian diaspora is planning a welcome event on June 23 for Modi at the historic Ronald Reagan Building and International Trade Center in downtown Washington, D.C. Here, Modi will speak for 2 hours on the topic, the role of diaspora in India's growth story. The 1,000-seat event is fully crowdfunded by Indian American individuals. Modi will conclude his US trip and travel to Egypt on June 24. There, he will meet President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in Cairo. In what is Modi's first visit to Egypt, trade and strategic relations are expected to be discussed. Sisi was the chief guest during India's Republic Day celebrations earlier this year. With India and Egypt agreeing to elevate their relationship to a strategic partnership, Modi's visit to Egypt is indeed significant.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.